People often ask me, Anne, after almost 30 years of doing prolonged fasts, what's the difference between the people who finish and the people who quit? And it's an interesting question because after all of these years, I've met people who looked incredibly disciplined and quit after 4 days. But I also met people who doubted themselves from the very beginning, who were convinced they probably couldn't do it, and somehow made it all the way to the end. For a long time, I thought the difference was willpower. I thought successful fasters were simply stronger people. Now I don't believe that anymore. I think they are simply having a different conversation with themselves. Now, when I did my first 21-day fast at 18, I wasn't thinking about mindset. I just wanted to lose weight. I'd spent years feeling uncomfortable in my own body. I've tried eating less. I'd promised myself that Monday would be different. You probably know how the story goes. Then I watched my grandfather do a 42-day fast. Not because he wanted to lose weight, he was facing something much bigger than that. What caught my attention wasn't why he started, it was how calm he seemed while he was doing it. Looking back, I think that was the first time I realized he wasn't fighting the fast, but he was accepting it. And it was years later that I understood how important that was. Since then, I've completed prolonged fasts almost every year. Now, some lasted 3 weeks and others lasted 6. I've had incredible fasts, difficult fasts. I've ruined my first refeed. I had days when I wanted food so badly I could almost taste it. So when people ask me what separates the people who finish from the people who quit, my answer surprises them. It isn't the obvious one like discipline, motivation, or even experience. It's the meaning they give to discomfort. Let me give you an example. Think about 2 people on day 4 in their 3-week fast. Both wake up tired. Both are craving food. Both are wondering if continuing is a good idea. Now, physically, they're having almost the same experience. But mentally, they're having a completely different one. One person thinks something must be wrong, when the other thinks, this is exactly what I expected. Nothing changed physically, but everything changed mentally. And that tiny difference often decides whether someone finishes or starts eating lunch. I see this outside of fasting too. One person goes for a walk in the rain and laughs about it. Another person complains the entire time. Same rain, different story. One person starts going to the gym and says, I'm getting stronger. And the other says, everything hurts. Same workout, different story. The story we tell ourselves changes the experience we are having. Fasting is no different. One thing I've started to do over the years, and something that I'm now encouraging the people I work with to do as well, and it's incredibly simple, is whenever something feels difficult, I ask myself one question. Is this dangerous or is it simply uncomfortable? Now, those are not the same thing. Most of the time, it's simply uncomfortable. And discomfort isn't a sign you are failed. It's often a sign you're exactly where you're supposed to be. That one question has helped me through far more than fasting. It's helped me through business, in relationships, at the gym, in difficult conversations, because it reminds me not to treat every uncomfortable thing like an emergency. Now, if you're thinking about doing your first prolonged fast, I don't think the biggest challenge you will face will be hunger. I think it will be the conversations you have with yourself when things become uncomfortable. That's the conversation that decides whether you keep going or convince yourself to stop. Now, if that's something you are struggling with, I'd love to invite you to my free Skool community, Fasting with Anne. You will find people preparing for their very first prolonged fast, people who are in the middle of the one, and others who have already finished. Sometimes just seeing that someone else is having the same thoughts you are having is enough to keep going. And if you'd like someone to guide you personally through your own prolonged fast, I also work with people one-on-one. Everything you need to know to get started is linked below. But before you go, I'd love to ask you one question. Think about the last fast you didn't finish. Looking back, what made you quit? Was it physical hunger, cravings, fear, boredom, pressure from people, or something completely different? Your answer might become the topic of my next video. Thank you for your time, thank you for your patience, and I hope to see you again in the next video.